This week's show brought to you by Frank Shoup, Georgetown's big name in cars. Roosters, a fun casual joint. Georgetown Advantage Air, now 100% locally owned and operated by Gene Thompson.
Hello everybody, welcome again to the News Graphic Scott County Cardinals Football Coaches Show with Coach Jim McKee. I'm your host Kal Oakes. And Coach, playoff time. We've made it. It's the time of year where it gets a little dark, supposed to be getting a little cold. We're in shorts.
You know, I can remember in 2012, we opened the 2012 playoffs with the first round. We hosted Ryle High School out of Northern Kentucky, who actually this year's had an undefeated season, but they were not having a strong season that year. And on the Tuesday, the very day that we're doing this video, it was so cold that we made the decision as a staff to just bring the kids out, flex them, go through our warm-up period, and go straight, do team offense and team defense and go in. And I can remember Hunter Nelson, who was one of our better players on that team, always had a real upbeat attitude. He wore no shirt, and he stayed all fired up during the whole game, or the whole practice. And I mean, you're right, it's just crazy warm today. You know, we know it'll get cool at some point in time, but it's crazy warm today, that's for sure.
Had yourselves a nice test on Friday night up at Covcath. That was just a back and forth game. You jumped out to a big lead, but as people might have expected from them, they stormed back and made a game of it, and you had to have a couple of gut check drives at the end of the game to go ahead and then to close it out. You got to be proud of that.
It was a great drive to close the game out. You know, obviously Covington Catholic takes a lot of pride in what they do. You know, you're never going to go in there and play them where they're going to lay over. They care, they want to win. It's very obvious by the way their kids play and the way their coaches coach. And you know, you're right, we got up 28-7, they came storming back. We took the lead, which was great, and then we sealed it. You know, when it's 28-28, if we don't take the lead, it's still tied. But you know when you're up, man, we drive right now, the game's on the line, which is 100% in our control. If we can run the clock out, they don't get the ball, we win. And, you know, that was a great drive. We got a couple key third downs on that drive. You know, we tossed the ball to Bryce once around the end on the 3rd and 2. Jacob Burton kind of bounced to the outside once on the 3rd and 2, and then we hit Bryce in the flat on the 4th down play.
Had to overcome a lot of adversity in that game. He lost Kendrick.
Yeah, Kendrick only played 6 or 8 plays in the game, and he's been, you know, arguably our best, or certainly one of our best players the whole season this year. And so had to overcome that. And, you know, we didn't really, but gosh, I mean, nobody wants Kendrick to be hurt. I mean, he don't want to be hurt. You don't want him to be hurt. Fans don't want him to be hurt. Parents don't want him to be hurt. But daggone it, I mean, part of football is you're going to have some injuries. And hopefully he's, knock on wood, going to be back and be fine, and we don't get anybody else hurt. But chances are we're probably going to get somebody else hurt.
You guys have dealt with that at least once a year for quite a few years in a row here.
It'd be 4 years in a row that our best, well, you know, what would be arguably our best overall skill guy has not played in the first round of playoffs. Yeah. You know, in 2013, Scotty Daniel didn't play in the opening round game. 2014, of course, Grayson Miller missed the whole season. 2015, Keith Guy didn't play in the opening round game, and 2016, Kendrick Hamilton won't play in the opening round game. So, you know, that stinks. Yeah. I need to give more in church on Sunday.
We'll say some prayers for you.
Or something. It's probably your fault.
So he's going to sit out this week, and then
I'd
you
say
hope to
for
get
sure
him back.
He'd sit out. I mean, I leave that up to the trainers, and you know, I don't get involved in that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm never going to sit there and like try to strong arm a kid into playing, and then the kid goes out there and you know, gets hurt worse. And I'm also, you know, really never. I can only remember one time in my whole career holding a kid out. You know, the trainer is going to have some type of functionality test for whatever the injury is. If you hurt your shoulder, he's not going to put you out there until you can pass that functionality test. And the same thing for your knee or ankle. Now, if he takes him out there Friday night and he totally passes the functionality test in the warm-ups and he has 0 limp and he says, Coach, I really, really want to play, you know, I'm probably not going to hold him out. But I really don't anticipate that happening.
Well, I mean, your opponent, Jeffersontown.
I mean, they've struggled. You got to call it down the middle. You know, you can't hear and sugarcoat the situation. I mean, they've really struggled, and they are 1-9. And you know, I've watched them on film. They have some good athletes, but We need to do what we need to do. We don't need to worry about Jeffersontown. What Scott County High School football needs right now is to get out there and get ahead as fast as possible and get to a running clock as quickly as possible and get every starter out of the game and let the JV guys have a chance to play. If that doesn't happen, that's our fault. That's my fault. You know, if I can't get the kids ready to go and get them focused and make them realize how important it is for that to happen, then I haven't done a good job getting them ready.
So the less you mess around with it,
the less the better. Yeah. I mean, we've been tested.
Yeah.
You know, if we had not been tested all year and, you know, I was worried about the second round game, if we could play 4 hard quarters or whatever, but we've been tested by some really good teams. And we've won some of those and we lost one. You know, so this is just like the necessary evil of getting to the second round game. No, I mean, I tell you what I appreciate. You're going to have Terry Masson on. We all call him Pack. I mean, I played high school football with him, and he's been around here for a long, long time. And I'll kind of let him, I don't want to steal his thunder. He'll get to kind of tell his story as you interview him. But that's what we've talked about, and maybe something we could really make an emphasis to do an even better job of is get those kind of guys on, and just so more people know what they do. I mean, somebody's got to set the helmet up, somebody's got to set the Cardinal up, somebody's got to fix the helmet when it breaks, and somebody's got to coach a freshman team to an undefeated season. So that's what guys like Pack do for us.
Let's see what Pack has to say. Coach, tell us about your role with the Cardinals and what you do around here.
Well, I guess the main thing is I do all the Friday night setup that everybody comes to see. You know, the tent, the Cardinal, the sideline stuff, take everything to the games. That's probably my main role in varsity. I help out coach about anything. This year I've kind of switched around. I started with the defense a little bit, and I've kind of been helping the running backs a little bit, and at times I have helped Coach Willer with the line. So I'm kind of a guy who can coach, I think, everything on the offense and defense if I need to be.
All those game day props, those are a big part of the program that people don't necessarily know who does them or who's responsible, right?
Well, you know, I have a lot of help, and I think them guys every Friday night, and I don't think some people know what it takes to do a program of 6A football in Scott County, but, you know, it's a job, but I love to do it, and that's what I like to do, so that's kind of my thing. I also helped coach the freshmen this year, and took over the offensive line for the freshmen, so if people don't know, we went 10-0 and one Saturday, a 14-12 game, and that was really fun. So
had to beat Lafayette twice there at the end of that season.
Yes, sir.
Had to beat them last game of the regular season and kind of prove it again 5 days later.
Yes, sir. And I was really proud of the kids. They stepped it up, and they played hard, and we were really happy. And it was a really talented group, and I think you're going to see great things out of the kids in the next 3 years with Scott County football.
That's how it always is around here. It seems like it just keeps going and going and going. There's a snowball effect. When kids have success at the younger levels, it just carries on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How'd you get involved with the program? Just tell us about your background a little bit.
Well, me and Coach McKee actually played together at Harrison County back in the 80s for Ray Graham, and I started out in youth league in 2000, and he actually, you know, his sons played in youth league, and just kind of knew who I was, and he actually got me rolling. Coached a little bit at Georgetown Middle School, and then moved up from freshman. Been with the varsity since 2003, so, you know, I've been through thick and thin for the last 13 years or so with him. So, you know, I've been in the good games and the bad games. So we've been down the road a few times, and it's been fun.
You've known Coach McKee a long time then. Is
yes,
what you
sir.
See, what you get?
Pretty much, yes, sir. Pretty much.
He always been that intense, even as a player?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We, you know, we played for Harrison County. It was a small school back then, and we both went both ways. And I played running back and linebacker, and he played tight end and defensive line linebacker. So we were pretty intense, and we had fun.
Where'd you go after high school?
I actually went to the Army. Went to Airborne Ranger School, and was in the Army for a few years, and just got involved back in, like I said, I got married and had a life for a little while, and then finally I had to get back in football because that's what I love to do. I love to coach, and, you know, working outside the community in Georgetown is, you know, a job, which I gotta have, but this is kind of like my number one thing a lot of times.
Does football kind of prepare you for that Army, Airborne Ranger? I mean, the lessons you learn on the football field as a player, as an athlete, kind of transition into that at all?
Yes, I believe it did. You know, Ray Graham was my coach, and his thing was team first, and that kind of like the way it is in the Army. You're always part of a team. So that was, you know, it kind of prepared me for the physical part too.
Just seems like that atmosphere is what kind of keeps things going around Scott County football too. It's a big family and a big team, and nobody wants to let anybody else down. Seems like to you.
Well, yeah, and I have to thank my wife. My wife, a lot of people don't know who my wife is, but we've been married a long 22 years, and she supports me in this, and I want to thank her for that. And I tell her that every time I see her, because without your, my spouse, I wouldn't be doing this. A lot of moms and wives wouldn't let their husbands coach as many years and do what I do, and the hours I'm gone, and the time it takes, and so
that tells me you still enjoy it after all these years.
Oh yeah, yeah. I told him, I said, I don't know how many more years I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it till you're done, and then I'm done. So I hope he knows that, but he does, and I'm gonna do it as long as he wants me here, and as long as he does it, I'm gonna do it.
What do you like the most about it? Is it just the kids?
I think it's it's all of it. It's the kids, work with the freshmen, starting. I did a little bit last year with the freshmen, and the good years. You're bringing the kids into the program and trying to teach them what we're trying to do here. A lot of these kids come in and they just don't realize how intense it is here. The 3 middle schools do a great job here. They get the kids ready somewhat, but we got to bring 3 middle schools together and teach them the Scott County football program. So that's what we try to do.
Everybody's kind of got to be moving in the same direction, even at those younger ages, to kind of prepare for this that last step. Right?
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about the playoffs coming up. This is an exciting time of year. It doesn't feel like playoff weather right now.
Well, it doesn't, and we've been down this road for so long. We don't really think about the first round, second round. We just week after week for us, day after day. We don't really try to play to our opponent. We do what we do. That's what we always say. Do what we do, and that's what we run the football and play good defense and play good special teams, and then hopefully that makes us through the playoffs. A lot of these teams are throwing here. Eventually, it's going to catch up with them. It's going to get cold. It's going to be nasty one night, and they're not going to be able to throw as much. So hopefully, running the football, it's going to help us.
Yeah, you guys have definitely proven you can do a lot of different things and beat people a lot of different ways, and that's what you want to be able to do at this time of year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Coach McKee says I'm supposed to ask you about the Super Bowl. What's your experience with that?
Well, I think it was around 2011. It was Ben Lawler was a quarterback. I'll tell you how long ago. It was before Clay was even the quarterback. We actually filmed a Super Bowl right here, a program. It was about Toyota did it, and when they were bringing out the new Camry, had a film crew come in, and they need someone. This is at 6 o'clock in the morning. Film me running the track, painting the field, that type of stuff. And there's one little clip of me I actually watched the commercial. You could see me run the track with fog coming up about 6:30 in the morning. So I can say I was in a Super Bowl commercial for at least a half a second or two.
If they were paying you by the number of seconds you were in it, you probably wouldn't have to coach football or do much of anything
Probably
else
not,
anymore.
but I didn't see much of that. So, but no, that was interesting. I never, been any kind of film. They said just act natural and do what you do. And I said, well, I'm painting the field. You can't see the field. Well, just run around the track. Well, I did that for about 2 or 3 times. I said, okay, I'm done running, guys. I'm not in shape. But that was something to do. And it was pretty wild to see yourself on TV, knowing that probably not too people do that except for Scott County people. So.
Well, we've heard what both coaches have to say about the season and the coming week. We also spoke with Caleb Demus, one of the players, to get his perspective. Let's see what he had to say.
Scott County passed its toughest test in more than a month in the win at Covington Catholic.
Well, I think we played pretty good, and it was a good test for us right before we go into the playoffs to see how a good physical team's going to play against us and how we can react to how they play. So I feel we did pretty good on the game. It was very important for us so we could get a good feel on how our team's going to play against a physical, good team like they are.
Coaches and players know the formula it takes to be successful in the playoffs.
Well, just keep on playing like we play every game, play tough, block good, take care of the ball, and complete our plays like we're supposed to.
The Cardinals believe they're primed for a run at the 6A state title.
Just focus on your goal. That's get to the state championship, and then you got those little goals in between, and that's to win every game. So I feel like we got a great chance to go all the way, and our team's pumped up, I'm pumped up, coaches are pumped up, and we're ready to go.